We're putting the spotlight on Al-Hassan Suhini's constituency. Coincidentally, we'll tell you the political history of the Tamale North constituency in the northern region. Here's our correspondent, Martina Bugri, with more.
The Tamale North constituency is one of the constituencies in the regional capital Tamale. Created in 2004, the seat has been largely held by the National Democratic Congress. Alhaji Abubakar Sumani was the first member of parliament for that constituency. He retained his seat in 2008 after beating then independent candidate Al-Hassan Dahmani and 4 other contestants. But Alhaji Sumani wasn't third-time lucky as he lost his bid to Al-Hassan Dahmani, who was contesting again as an independent candidate. Mr. Dahmani's catchy slogan, "No Dahmani, no vote," caught on with the constituents, who gave him the nod to represent them in parliament, albeit via a slim margin of 694 votes. Then in 2016, the NDC Al-Hassan Suhini emerged. He played to the gallery and won the hearts of the people in an election Christian Al-Hassan Suhini seized power. Mr. Suhini won, emphatically beating his contender, the MPP's Kulsume Mohammed, by more than 5,000 votes. 2016, Suhini seized power. What's the slogan for this year?
Well, this year the slogans are so many, depending on the community that I go to. One slogan or the other is dropped. Yesterday I was at Manile, and the people said that they are giving me ruler. This year they are replacing the Assisi power with ruler. And it depends on where you go. Others say that I'm the development chief, Tumalana, and all those things. So it depends on the community, but the Assisi power is still very much alive.
4 years later, Al-Hassan Dahmani has staged a comeback, but this time on the ticket of the NPP, making him Al-Hassan Suhini's closest contender. Incumbent member of parliament Al-Hassan Suhini believes he has contributed his quota, and with the grace of God, he will win for the second time. He outlined some of the projects he has undertaken.
By the grace of God, even though we did not come into parliament at a time that our government was in power, we have been able to lead a number of interventions in the constituency that we are, I will say, thankful to God for. For example, one of our very rural areas in the constituency, known as Balahe, as a result of my intervention, they are getting a very, modern clinic that is being put up by Kata Charity, an NGO that I approached and requested support for. And I am grateful to the foundation, because that is not the only community that is benefiting from their intervention. In fact, it came to me as a shock when they called me one afternoon and announced the projects that they were, going to undertake in my community after I had engaged them for over a year. And the Balahai Clinic is one. They are doing a similar clinic in Ward K, and they are doing 3-unit classroom block in Kalpohini and another 3-unit classroom block in Kampri. They have also provided 3 water, mechanized, boreholes in the communities in Tamale North, Kamble Baumo, Kamble Tunairi, and then Kumani. Now, that is what I want to be the model of a member of parliament lobbying for projects, not only just from central government, but also other well-meaning organizations like non-governmental organizations that are into development works. And I am also very, very thankful not only to Kata Charity, but to other NGOs that have in different ways helped me to impact life in the last 4 years that I have been the MP of this area. One that also comes to mind is Crime Check Foundation. It's also a Ghanaian NGO. They have also helped me to provide a water system, a mechanized well with overhead tank at a community known as Woboguma. It is a community that shared, until that well shared their water source, a dam that was constructed somewhere in year 2000 with animals. And it is the only source of water. The dam was the only source of water until this mechanized well was provided by Crime Check Foundation. They have also led a number of interventions. I recall one afternoon when I got a call from them too, that they wanted to support widows in my constituency, and they had 3 million Ghana cedis each for 100 widows that I could identify.
Alhassan Suhuyini also talks of the challenges of being able to lobby for projects when your party is not in power, as well as the dynamics of politics in the northern region.
Our politics is very adversarial, and so at every point in time, opposing parties want to outdo each other. And it's also because the higher number of MPs you have in parliament, the easier governance is for you and your party in government. So it is always that adversarial. We want to encroach on each other's territories. And so it is not usually in the interest of the sitting government to help the opposition member of parliament to look good. Because if he does, then it becomes almost impossible for you to win his or her seat. And so it makes it quite difficult for a party, a member of parliament in opposition, to be able to, receive support from an opposing party in government. It takes a lot of craftiness sometimes to be able to get government support when you are in opposition. And sometimes, because of the adversarial nature, I could have even given you examples of places that I have gone to lobby and have been successful at lobbying. But because it's adversarial, even naming those places makes it problematic for the people in government that have helped you. That's the nature of it, because then their party go after them and criticize them for making it difficult for them to unseat you. Well, having joined politics, I've come to realize that it is quite difficult to place a finger on why people make choices when they go to the ballot box. I mean, for some, it's about development, and even development, it's broken down into different forms. For some, it's about emotions. My conclusion is that it is only through the grace of God that people are elected. It is not really through the effort that one puts in. The effort counts, but at the end of the day, it is the grace, of the Almighty Allah. Because interacting with the people, somebody can decide not to vote for you because you drove past the shop and didn't greet, and didn't stop to greet. And that is enough reason why the person will not vote you. Not because you are not a good representative enough, not because you are not championing what we all assume we know development to be, but just because you drove past the shop and didn't greet, or because he had an occasion or she had an occasion and didn't see you at that occasion, or somebody close to you said something that he found unpleasant or abusive, and for which reason you are not going to be his or her choice. So the reasons why people actually make choices when they go to the ballot box are varied by my experience in the short period that I have been in politics. So it's quite difficult to pin on something and say, because of this, I'm going to win at all costs. I believe it is hard work, it is doing what you know to be right, it is championing the causes that you believe to be right, but also praying to the Almighty to favor you with grace.
Welcome back on the AM show, and that was a bit of history going down memory lane when it comes to the Tamale North constituency there. Alhassan Suhuyini giving us some insight into that constituency.